So God gave Moses the 10 commandments on Mount Sinai, and it's a great bunch of rules to live by. It's fairly simple. Thou shalt not have no other God before me. Thou shalt not murder. Honor thy mother and thy father. So the rules are pretty straightforward. But what if we had the 10 commandments for building wealth? How cool would that be? Well, those are available. It's available in a book called Thou Shalt Prosper, and I'm going to be telling you all about it in this episode of the Wealth Nation podcast.
Welcome to the Wealth Nation podcast, a podcast for every mother, daughter, grandmother, sister, and wife, and the men who are smart enough to tune in. The Wealth Nation podcast brings you all you need to know about investments, business, property investments, personal finance, and all-around financial wellness. Here is your host, Yolanda Rose.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Wealth Nation podcast. I am Yolanda Hari Prasad, wealth advisor and wealth coach, and it is my goal on this platform to give you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to manage your money well and to build generational wealth. The Wealth Nation podcast is sponsored by Financial Success Summit 2021. I am getting the top folks in their industry, from a property to Bitcoin to formal investments, banking, short-term insurance, budgeting, all of the tools, all of the tips, all of the tricks, all of the strategies that you need to break free financially. I'm getting all these folks together in one virtual room that's happening on the 17th and 18th of April 2021. So if you want to get tickets to this event, go to the website. It's www.financialsuccesssummit.net. and buy those tickets. Tickets are selling for just 99 Rand. And if you use this coupon code for a limited time, you can get early bird tickets. So go and shop for tickets. You're going to get a 60% discount and pay just 40 Rand for 2 days of power-packed financial advice. Use coupon code early bird at checkout. Now, one of our guest speakers in that virtual success summit that you've just heard, our keynote speaker is Rabbi Daniel Lapin. Rabbi Daniel is a South African-born rabbi who immigrated to the United States in the 70s, and he has been doing well for himself. He is a financial guru, America's rabbi, they call him. And he's a best-selling author. He's wrote 2 books. Well, he's wrote a bunch of books, but what he's noted for is Thou Shalt Prosper, 10 Commandments for Making Money, and Business Secrets from the Bible. 2 brilliant books. If you are in business, I highly recommend that you read Business Secrets from the Bible. It will change the way you think. It will change the way you do business. But today we're talking about Thou Shalt Prosper. This is basically Rabbi Daniel's explanation of the 10 commandments of making and enjoying money, the ethical way. If you want to understand why so many Jews throughout history have been so successful in creating and keeping wealth, this is what you need. Now, this book is one of the most comprehensive yet most interesting books that I've read in the last couple of years. And the first major perspective that I have taken from the book is that you got to stop thinking that money making is dirty or is an unworthy endeavor. So in one sentence, this book basically says that this is the 10 commandments to becoming a wealthy person without losing your soul. So if you want to make a lot of money, but you're a bit afraid, you're apprehensive to admit it because you feel that you shouldn't be chasing money. Maybe you suspect that wealth and rich people are somehow morally corrupt. This book is for you because it puts things into perspective. So part of the 10 commandments of making money, it's just basically impossible for me to cover all in one. So we're just going to look at one of those commandments today. Many misconceptions. Jews are successful in business because of education. Now, if you're familiar with Shakespeare's The Merchant of Venice, you know that the Jewish character of Shylock is portrayed as a greedy and vengeful loan shark who's only interested in money. And there's a lot of derogatory portrayal of the Jewish people. I mean, somebody calls you a Jew, you know the connotation with that. You're money hoarding. You don't like to share. All you're after is money. And it's not the right way to think. We shouldn't be stereotyping people. But in addition to this sort of negative images, there's other false theories about Jews that how they come to be successful with business and money. The thing is that Jews have survived countless periods of persecution, and it has been suggested that wealthy Jews only survived because they could buy their way out. So the future generations of Jews were so-called had this money gene or something like that. But the thing is, in the Torah, the holy book that defines Jewish law, it specifically calls for people to maintain an honest reputation when doing business. Any instances of cheating would be a direct offense to God. And every religion practices this. Every religion practices this. Nobody promotes cheating, dishonesty, and lies in their belief in God.
Raising financially savvy children involves teaching them a variety of skills, from budgeting to planning to earning and saving. Besides giving them an understanding of the value of a rand, it prepares them for real-world finances. Financial literacy is a vital skill, and it is never too early to teach your kids about money. Many parents wonder how they can teach their kids about money and where to find age-appropriate resources. You can now purchase the Financial Literacy for Kids workbook, which is aimed at primary school kids. It's now available at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com. This workbook provides you with 12 lessons, activities, lesson plans, discussion points, and quizzes that you can use to test your kids' knowledge. Shop now at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com.
Like what you hear so far? Make sure you never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Tuned In. Now back to the show.
A Jewish home is often filled with books. And it's the centrality of education in Jewish life is why Jews throughout history they've had very high literacy rates. So this is also why even though Jews only comprise 0.2% of the world's population, there's a disproportionately large number of books published every year concerning Jewish themes. In addition to the Torah's teachings, there's also oral traditions that continue to be passed down in the Jewish community. And a common lesson is to sacrifice present pleasures for future benefits. Basically, it's delayed gratification. You sacrifice your present pleasure for benefit in the future. A reminder that putting in the hard work today will lead to success in business tomorrow. And the first commandment also basically indicates that you got to believe that business should have dignity, and there should be a level of morality in business as well. It's a noble endeavor, and that's what the book talks about in the very first commandment. And it's not uncommon for organizations and businesses to be demonized by politicians and the media. And we see it here. You see people going on the streets promoting socialism and communism, and they want the capitalist way to go. And we're so entrenched with socialism in this country now, with all of the handouts and dependencies that people have on government. And it's the politicians and the media that portray these big organizations as these demons. But this can turn people's attention away from job creation and the charitable work that comes from the private sector. And we see the unions doing this as well. They want to strike for everything. And a lot of the charitable work we find in the private sector, it's very hard to find it in the media. If you want to see the charitable work from the private sector, you got to go to their website. Very rarely will you ever find it in the media unless it's a paid promotion on the media. So on a more personal level, a healthy business venture can make people feel better about themselves. It gives you confidence. It gives you dignity that you're earning for yourself. You're producing for yourself and your family better than a handout from the government or anybody for that matter. It's not unlike someone to be part of a clinical trial and being given a placebo. The patient often ends up feeling better just by being part of the program. And the same can happen when somebody is part of a noble business pursuit. Due to the teachings of the Torah, Jews apply this kind of morality to doing business and earning money. Jewish wisdom teaches that success only comes if business has the approval of our friends, and it's the approval that creates the passion and the drive behind the endeavor. So we're also urged in the book to be ethical and to be virtuous in our business endeavors. When we see ourselves as morally upright, running our business in an honest, ethical fashion, we're less likely to enter illegal or immoral territory. And, as I say this, I'm thinking of Steinhoff. I mean, there was nothing ethical or virtuous about what they've done in the last couple of years, right? If they've conducted their business in an ethical and honest way, we would have seen a different situation. They've cooked the books to make things seem as if they were good, but they were totally not good at all. Of course, if somebody gets away with cheating, like Steinhoff has for a very long time, they'll be tempted to cheat again. And we've seen years and years of data come out of Steinhoff to show the amount of fraud that's been happening over there. And the book tells us about atonement. Atonement means being one with God. And it's an important part of Judaism as well, to atone, to repent, ask for forgiveness, but not just ask and go back to the same pattern. You got to ask, you got to atone, you got to receive your forgiveness, and you got to learn from that mistake and not do it again. You don't want to be tempted to repeat the behavior. A little known fact about the Jews is that when they joined the banking profession, it was an effort to perform a noble service to help others. Jewish tradition views lending money as opposed to giving money away, charitable act. By lending, others can start their own business and retain their own independence and dignity in the process. Unlike our social systems here in South Africa, over 17 million receiving grants, only 3 million taxpayers in South Africa. So I want you to take this lesson away from Thou Shalt Prosper by Dr. Daniel Lapin. Go and get this book. It's the basic commandments to start building money. It's going to change the way you think about yourself, about your family, about how you deal with money, how you look at money. And stay tuned to us on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to be giving away a copy of this book very soon, so look out for that. All right, so that's it for me on this episode of the Wealth Nation podcast. I'll chat to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to visit our website at www.financiallyfabulousfemales.com and sign up for our free investment masterclass.